Aries, today's attraction only matters if it leaves your scale intact, not if it pushes you into chasing. Picture a closed room. Inside it, a presence that changes the atmosphere meets your most automatic reflex. A Moon-Mercury friction puts the home root's emotional base axis on edge, so one badly phrased reply can weigh more than the event itself. It may be a chat, a look, or a pause where you realize whether you want contact or just confirmation. Desire doesn't need to be shut down, but it does need direction. A presence that changes the atmosphere is worth it, only if it doesn't ask you to betray yourself to keep it close. If you confuse intensity with truth, you could get closeness now and clarity too late. The cost is giving away your presence before you know whether that signal deserves space. Move. Before you reply, cut the line that asks for reassurance and keep the one that still holds up tomorrow. Come back here before you answer something intense that hasn't yet proven its measure. Taurus, if a yes at home still clings to you, don't call it peace. Today you have two doors. Say yes out of habit and the tension drops fast. Or slow down and give a domestic boundary some shape. Jupiter activates home, roots, and the emotional base. The choice cannot stay automatic now. It's home. A simple request, a yes offered to keep the peace. A threshold nobody names. The first door calms the room for an hour. The second protects the boundary. For Taurus, the risk is not resistance. It's staying still when calm has become a price. If you have to make yourself smaller to keep the room quiet, that isn't peace. It's an emotional tax. The strong move is a boundary said softly, before the wall goes up. Are you protecting home or buying quiet with a piece of yourself? Write down who does what. Wait. Confirm only what you can actually carry. Move. Make one concrete choice before you react. Send it to anyone who's about to pay for clarity with silence. Gemini. Today, the opening doesn't arrive shouting. It comes through an opportunity that won't come back the same way. This isn't theory. That opportunity touches the way you protect time, desire, boundaries, or dignity. Jupiter opens space in words, exchanges, and the nearby environment. But it asks for measure. The useful opening must not be confused with escape. This is the moment when something opens, but only if you stop waiting for a guarantee. For Gemini, mental speed only helps if it doesn't become another way to postpone. Luck here isn't a prize, it's timing, recognizing that opening before it loses its edges. If you stay too composed, the useful moment can pass and leave you with an elegant version of regret. If you don't give body to the real possibility, tomorrow you may remember it as a sign, not a choice. Move. If the signal is there, put it on the calendar, in a message, or into motion. Don't leave it as an impression. Listen again before you confuse caution with delay. Cancer. There's a narrow window today. Wait too long, and it turns into noise. No need for drama. A practical signal not to postpone becomes readable in the first honest shift in your tone. Jupiter brings breath into the resources money value axis. Used well, it grows a choice, not just a bigger illusion. This is the moment when something opens, but only if you stop waiting for a guarantee. The useful opening today has a concrete shape. A practical signal not to postpone asks for presence, not fantasy. For Cancer, the risk is buying peace outside and finding yourself emptied out inside. The stake is not reaching tomorrow with the sense that you saw the right point and arrived too late. Putting it off may look harmless, but it moves the useful signal from the field of choice into the field of clean regret. Move. Answer the opening with a small act, not a big theory. Come back here when the day asks you to choose the cleanest opening. Leo, the useful possibility doesn't flatter you. It puts you in front of a choice. First image, a small but real door enters the scene without asking permission, and the rest of the day has to answer. Jupiter amplifies the identity-body-presence axis. Luck here feels more like timing than miracle. The day doesn't open everything. It leaves just enough room for a small but real door to enter the choice. This is the scene where you feel something could actually move. but only if you stop waiting for an aesthetic guarantee. For Leo, the day pays you back if you stay whole without turning everything into a test of presence. If you stay too composed, the useful moment can pass and leave you with an elegant version of regret. The risk is waiting for a more comfortable signal, and discovering the real one was already clear enough. Move. Treat the opening like a living thing. Make room for it now, not just theoretical attention. Come back here when you need to tell opportunity from fantasy. Virgo. If the value isn't clear, don't fill the gap with politeness. That's the hidden cost of saying yes too fast. It looks like courtesy, but it shifts weight onto your side. Stay with the first layer. A promise that needs measure takes shape when you stop scattering everything else. Mars makes the resources money value axis more impatient. If you don't shake the energy decides for you. If nobody names the cost, a promise that needs measure can turn into the usual advantage of whoever insists more. For Virgo, the risk is polishing the outline enough to avoid touching the core. If you leave the margin vague, tomorrow you may have to defend a bigger boundary. If that margin stays vague with a polite tone, the price gets set by whoever pushes hardest. Move. Write down the number, the time, and the limit. Confirm only what stays clean. Send it to anyone who needs to understand that badly bought piece becomes debt. Libra. If desire asks for confirmation, slow down. Maybe it wants a choice. The line has to protect the center. A seductive invitation to read carefully can't stay open at your expense. With Jupiter active, the desire creativity pleasure field can expand. It only works if you choose a concrete direction. This is the point where someone lights you up, but the sky asks you not to hand over the wheel. The emotional tension becomes useful only when a seductive invitation to read carefully stops asking for reaction and starts asking for truth. The stake is telling the difference between a bond that opens presence and a dynamic that feeds only on your reaction. For Libra, the risk is saving the atmosphere and losing the boundary you actually needed. The risk is mistaking the thrill for truth and realizing too late you are only asking for confirmation. Move. Don't chase reassurance. Choose the gesture you can still stand behind tomorrow. Listen again when a romantic line feels easier than a true one. Scorpio. The breakthrough doesn't come when everything is clear. It comes when you stop circling it. Put a step that can't stay theoretical to the test of facts. Less interpretation, more consequence. Mars heats the intimacy shared resources transformation field. Useful if it cuts the knot. Costly if it only seeks release. This is the scene where you realize the block needs less thought and more action. Today, strength is moving one real piece, not building another explanation around the point. For Scorpio, the day pays you back if you name the raw point before building a strategy around it. The stake is getting out of the mental loop. If you don't move anything, the block stays respectable. If a step that can't stay theoretical waits any longer, tomorrow it will take more force to do the same thing. Move, choose the point that freezes the rest, and cut into it today with an act that leaves a trace. Carry it with you when the block tries to look polite. Sagittarius. It's not just money. Today, time, margin, and dignity want the same boundary. The knot isn't huge, but it is exact. A cost left implicit decides how clear you can stay in the scene. Lunar eclipse. If the career role public direction axis stays unnamed, the day will make it speak in a sharper way. This is a micro-negotiation over power. Whoever defines the price also defines the pace. This isn't greed. It's stopping the discomfort from pricing things for you. Today, the real loss isn't seeming rigid. It's giving away value before you've even named it. For Sagittarius, vision only works if it accepts the boundary that makes it practical. If a cost left implicit stays implicit, it doesn't disappear. It just shifts from the number to your availability. Move. If the boundary is real, write it down or say it now, not after it's already been crossed. Send it to anyone who needs to set a price without feeling cruel. Capricorn. The uncomfortable truth isn't showing up to hurt you. It's showing up because the alibi is used up. The useful move cuts small but clean. A calm that hides the price should no longer take over the whole scene. With Saturn active, the home root's emotional base area won't forgive the almost. It either takes shape or it keeps weighing on you. There's a tiny fracture between what you know and what you keep supporting. And today it shows more clearly than usual. The more you try to stay lucid without feeling, the more a calm that hides the price finds a way to get heard. The stake is giving an honest name to the point you'd rather keep explaining. For Capricorn, the day asks for structure in service of truth, not just endurance. The risk is staying on the side of the alibi and letting fear organize the day for you. Move. Before defending yourself, ask what you're really protecting. Mark the point that bothers you. That's often the one that frees you. Aquarius, today you don't have to win the day. You have to reclaim a piece of breathing room. The right lens cuts the noise down. A physical margin worth defending becomes clear when you stop trying to sweeten it. The moon opposite Mercury presses on the work method health axis. One sentence can shift the whole climate. This is real maintenance. Less heroics, more intelligence in protecting what keeps you lucid. The tired part shouldn't be silenced. Inside that physical margin worth defending is the place telling you where to restore measure. For Aquarius, mental distance only helps if it doesn't become a polished way to stay outside the scene. If you recover first, you choose better later. Today, the pause is part of the strategy. If you keep forcing that margin, the price may show up as the wrong tone, an impulsive reply, or exhaustion running the whole scene. Move. Choose a concrete form of care, not a promise to recover later. Save it before you call discipline what is already burning through your center. Pisces. If a figure or resource has no measure, someone will use your silence as a discount. Draw a line. Up to here, a figure or resource can enter. Beyond this point, it has to become a choice or leave. Jupiter makes the resources money value axis more generous, but also riskier if you confuse trust with dispersion. This is the kind of moment where embarrassment wants to stay in the driver's seat, and the sky asks for clarity instead. If nobody names the cost, the real cost can turn into the usual advantage of whoever insists better. The stake is knowing whether you truly want to be generous or whether you just want to avoid the awkward moment of being clear. For Pisces, the risk is sensing the point perfectly and still leaving it shapeless out of softness. The risk is buying peace with a resource you'll need whole tomorrow. Move. Name the cost, time, or limit the moment you feel the embarrassment rising. Save it before you sign. Through silence, a price you never truly accepted.